Hey there, welcome to Drew Bentley Guitar. Today let's take a look at how to jam with a major pentatonic scale using the 1, 4, and 5 chords. This is one of my absolute favorite sounds on the guitar. Let's dig in. For this lesson, we're going to use the E major pentatonic scale in the 9th position. It looks like this. So you'll notice it looks just like the minor pentatonic scale as well, if you know that one. If I start that with my little finger instead, it becomes the major pentatonic scale, and it sounds like My Girl. So we're playing in the cage system. Here's a G chord. If I move this up to here, the same two fingers illustrate the G chord here, but it's actually an E chord. So it's E in a G form of the cage system. So what I want to do here is I want to try to get a little bit of a rhythm going, utilizing a very simple lick in the E major pentatonic scale, and then we're going to play the chords with it. So here's the lick. So that's where we want to start. What I'm doing is I'm sliding from 9 to 11 on the A string, and then playing the double stop, which means 2 strings. It's a violin term for 2 notes together. I'm playing the G, the D, and the G strings together, and back to the A string. And I want this stuff to all kind of ring out and resonate over top of each other. It's okay if that happens. That's sort of the magic of the sound, is that the higher strings are going to resonate while you're playing the lower strings. It's kind of the Jimi Hendrix rhythm song. So then after that, I'm sliding the double stop of D9 and G9, 2 frets higher, and stopping. So it's whoop, and then back to the 9th fret again. So here's it slowly. You'll notice my pick's doing a lot of raking, a lot of like, and that's important to the style as well. You kind of rake your hand across the strings. So slowly. So that's how I raked upwards on the 9th fret. See, like, and back to A11. Now I'm going to do you could do it with your little finger if you wanted to, or a 3rd finger. Let's do 3rd finger, it's easier. I'm going to play G9 to G11 and do a trill, then D11 to D9. It's a little box. Pentatonic scale has a lot of little boxes. This time I'm going to rake into the G string to get that slightly aggressive sound. So now the first slide, that time I raked upwards. That's all kind of upstrumming there. A little bit of vibrato on these guys, like that, so it sounds like this. All the little nuanced things I'm doing with the techniques make a big difference with the style. You want to have a lot of those little nuances. And sometimes I use my fingers here as well, like. So that's very common for me also. You can play around with that and get those different sounds that you like. But again, kind of what I call clicking and dragging. If I play this and play that, it's all still ringing out a little bit throughout the chord form. And that's kind of the magic of the whole thing. So for this jam, we're going to utilize the 1 chord, the 5 chord, and the 4 chord in the key of E. E is the 1 chord, B is the 5 chord, A is the 4 chord, and back to E for the 1 chord. But we're going to do that with caged forms further up the neck. So this first chord I'm playing is, again, the G form of the E chord. I'm just going to play these middle 4 strings. Looks like this. So for the next chord, I'm going to play a C form of a B chord. That looks like this. So that's like A14, this is D13, G11, and B12. And so that's a B chord. 2 frets lower is my A chord. That's A12, D11, G9, and B10. And back to the 1 chord. So that's 1, 5, 4, 1. It's called a retrogression. It's the progression moving backwards. If you don't know these chord forms yet, dig into the Caged System playlist on the channel. There's a bunch of lessons about how to learn how to play the caged system chords across the guitar neck. It's super valuable. So the next set of chords we're going to utilize here in this first level, again from this G chord here, G form of the E chord, we're going to move into this E form of B and then the A form of B. These are a little more common E form cage system chords. So that looks like this. There's the 1 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. Okay, so far so good. The next thing we want to do is slide up here to this B chord in the C form I talked about. And we can do some noodling around in that as well. Let's start with the G string first. So I'm going to play it like this, kind of like. So it's G11 to G13 with a trill inside of the chord like this. But I'm holding the chord form steady while I'm doing the trill. And again, the magic of this whole thing is some of the notes are stagnant while other ones are moving. And I'm going to go down chromatically and do the same thing here. And then back to, so here's the whole thing slowly. Okay, so that's like the first lick. I ended it slightly different that time. It's sort of a call and response kind of thing, but that's the basic idea. So we could do the same thing now, but we're going to go to this B chord instead. So instead of playing the whole chord form like that, let's just play this little diagonal space here. It looks sort of like the F chord down here. And we're going to utilize the G string again with our hammer-ons and pull-offs like this. And then down on the A string, the A chord, same thing again. So this is the suspension of that chord and suspension of this chord. Up here, when I did that, this would be the 5th to the 6th of this chord. This is the 5th, do, re, mi, fa, sol, and that's la. That's a new movement there. There I played a hammer on the D string instead of the G string, and then landed on A11 or A12, like that. That's a cool sound. On the last record I just put out, the most recent record, there's 3 songs that are based on the major pentatonic scale out of 10, so it's pretty important to me. So this looks like this. If you use this and this down here, we have and back to E again. So I'm going to do both in a row. I'll do the C form and then the E form as well. Okay, so that'd be kind of like level 1 of doing this. Most of the movement has been the G string. Now let's try the same thing this time. Let's add the B string in. If I do this, well, that's kind of a cool movement. I'm going. So this is based out of the major scale. Here's E major. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So if I go like this, I'm playing do, re, mi, fa, sol, same leg, but here. So it sounds like this. That's kind of cool. Let's simply do that. Let's go to this B form this time. Let's go ahead and add this note in. So I'm playing the same C form of the B chord, but I'm adding that note in, and then the A chord. this case, this is the add 9. So my movement this time is on the B string instead of the G string. So slowly we have. Okay, that's kind of cool. So we can do the same thing with these chords and add the B string there. In this case, that's the 6th of the chord and that's the 6th of the chord. So we're doing add 9, 6, and sus with all of these. It'd be like this if I use the B string as the feature. Now we can mix and match the G string and the B string being the feature. So that's a cool sound. We got both of those strings going on. It also stands to reason we can utilize the top string as well. For this B chord in the C form, that's the 3rd and that's the 5th. And on the E form, that's the root and that's the add 9. So for this B chord in the C form, this one is the 5th to the 6th. And then the B string the root to the add 9, the high E string is the 3rd to the 5th. On these forms, that's the 3rd to the sus, that's the 5th to the 6th, and that's the root to the add 9. Now that's a lot of theory there, and it kind of matters and it kind of doesn't because we're just reaching for sounds, but realize that if you freeze frame any of these, there's a 6th chord, here's a sus chord, here's an add 9. See, I can freeze frame these. Here's a C form, right? If I play this, there's the 6th chord. I'll do it down here, it's easier to reach. There's an A6 like that. If I do that, if I do this, it's an A add 9, looks like this. Here's a it's the regular A chord with the 5th in the top. So we can utilize these forms to actually play real chords with them. But the idea of this whole thing is to move through the chords. Now let's take this another step further. Here's our jam. So what we're going to do now is utilize the D string. So it looks like this. So now we're utilizing the G string, the B string, the high E string, and also the D string. Here's the G string. The B string. Do the high E string in the next position, down here. And then the D string. That's pretty neat, huh? Another thing that's really, really cool, this is our final kind of step here, to bring this kind of jam to life at the moment. You could take this across the entire guitar neck, of course. You can play this in all positions and open up absolutely everything. And then do this in every key you can as well, too. Pretty neat stuff. We can utilize different chords, too. You could throw in the 2 chord or the 6 chord. It's kind of almost endless how this can open up. But for the moment, one more thing we're going to do is this motion right here. So this B chord looks like an F. If we play this to the next 3 fingers instead, like this, we open up this position. Now, that's for a different lesson entirely, I think, to get really into that. But check this out. If I go... And then like... Just like this. So that's the G string, the B string, high E string, and the D string, and then these other motions. It's really amazing to be able to do this jam. Again, you're going to want to take this across the entire guitar neck. Right now, I'm playing out of this G form. G form is a great form to jam out of, but you can jam out of a lot of them. I could do the same thing out of the C form. I could do the same thing out of the D form, frankly. You can play out of all the different forms to play this jam. And then, like I said, you can add in different chords as well and really open things up if you add in the secondary chords. These are primary chords, 1, 4, and 5. If you add in 2, 4, and 6, it becomes incredibly vast. And again, run this through the different keys, through the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths, which I think is more valuable. Circle of fifths backwards, because that's how jazz tunes cycle. Thanks so much for watching today's lesson. Hopefully this will help you to open up with the major pentatonic scale and explore on your own. There's so much you can do with this. It's virtually endless. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. There's lots of lessons on their way. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you for the next lesson.